Hey guys, Barbara here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I want to make something vegan. So I want to make something healthy and fun. Let's make white bean kale soup. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. Say hello to Mama.
Hi everybody.
She's not shy, okay? Yes, Mario Ramirez from
Box 11.
You are on the Bear Pantry Show in Utah.
Every Sunday, potato salad, stewed chicken, rice and beans, and plantains.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. Yeah.
Oxtails.
You're watching the Bear Pantry Show.
Attack! You're watching the Bear Pantry Show with my sister.
For those of you that watch my show often, you guys know that I'm not vegan, right? And I don't see a day that could ever come where I could become vegan. But I do respect the lifestyle, and I have a lot of friends that are vegan. And when people come to my home, I love to show them love through my cooking. So of course, if they come with specifications, I want to be able to accommodate them. So ever since I did the Daniel Fast series in January when we were doing the fast, I've made a few vegan dishes from time to time right here. Some of the same dishes that I did on the fast, and I would eat them only at lunchtime. Nobody else eats them, but I eat them at lunchtime. So I think I could call myself a vegan only for lunch. So today's soup, it's kind of nice. It's going to be thick and it's going to be creamy. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to get the cream, okay? And it's going to need vegetable stock. And I don't want to get the stuff from the store, so I'm going to make vegetable stock like I did when I did the Daniel Fast series. So we're going to start off first of all with that, okay? Let's go. So let's see what's in my little tote here. The first thing up is the kale, and then red onions, carrots of course. We're going to need white beans for the soup, so this is what I have here. But let's continue with the stuff for the stock first. Here's some celery, and let's start. So this is the kale. Normally we wouldn't eat the stems of the kale, right? So we're going to go ahead and cut that off. And this is what we're going to use to make the stock. All the parts of the vegetable that we would not normally eat, all right? So let me throw everything in this little bin here. Nothing has been washed yet, but we'll wash everything afterwards. So here comes the celery. We're going to cut off this bottom part right here and put that in the pan. Next, the carrots, and I'm only going to use 2 pieces of my carrots because I need the rest of it to actually make the soup or the stew. And then the red onions. This is very important for you to leave the skin on for the red onion because this is what's going to give the broth or the stock its color, all right? So just let me cut this part off and put that in the bin. And let's see what else I can find in the fridge. I found some cabbage. Let me cut this piece off, and I think we're ready to go. So let's move over to the stove. Look, I found some peppers that were going bad. They were kind of soggy. I mean, not going bad like they had, fuzz on it, but they were soggy. So let me throw everything in here, and we're going to bring this to a boil. And you want to let this boil for about an hour and a half or 2 hours or so until you see the water, starts to get colored by the onions. Meanwhile, this is what we're going to need for the stew: the celery, kale, carrots, salt, pepper, oregano, and basil. All right, pretty easy. Now let me go ahead and cut up the carrots while my stock is still cooking. And we want this to bite-sized pieces. And I'm using my big knife here, but I'll be honest with you guys, I really don't have knife skills. So pretty soon I'm gonna switch out from this knife and use the one that makes me feel comfortable. See, bite-sized pieces? So see, this is the knife that I like, all right? Let me cut the celery. All right, guys, so I drained off all that stock. See, this stuff comes in handy, look at it. And that red onion is the thing that makes it have this beautiful color. So this has no salt or anything in it. So we're just gonna have to salt our soup, season our soup. So what I have here is some diced up onions, some diced up celery, diced up carrots. I'm gonna use just this batch of kale. Y'all know I really don't like kale, but I'm trying really hard because it's something that's good for us. So that's why I want to make it in this soup, because maybe I'll like it in a soup rather than raw. We're gonna use white beans. The recipe calls for white kidney beans, but I couldn't find that at the store. Look at this big shelf at the store. All these different beans, black beans, garbanzo beans, all different brands of garbanzo beans, but only this one white beans, or the Great Northern or whatever, the one that I used to make the you call it thing baked beans out of. That's all they have. So you can use grapeseed oil, or olive oil, or even this macadamia nut oil. I'm not going to use this though because this burns a little bit too hot for me, but I just wanted to show you that you can use any oil you have on hand, but use one of the healthier ones. I'm going to just drizzle a little bit in my pan. I'd say that that's about 2 tablespoons. I put more in this pan because see, this pan tries to stick sometimes. So I'm going to cover it. And then we're going to saute up our vegetables and get our beautiful little soup going. Come on over to the stove with me. Let's start off with the onion. The pot wasn't hot enough. I wanted that sizzle. But here we go. It's sizzling now, right? Let me go ahead and add the celery. Let me get all the pieces off of my cutting board. After this, I'm going to add in the carrots. It's looking pretty already, right? I like the color. So we just want this to cook for a little bit, maybe 2 minutes or so. I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir and just allow everything to get coated by the olive oil. And then we're going to add the stock. So I'm going to measure 2 cups first out of one of the bowls and see where that puts us, okay? Because this pot is kind of wide. So this is 2 cups of the stock or broth. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and put the rest that's in this bowl, but not to the bottom because I don't want whatever grounds or drainings is on the bottom.
Mommy, what you cooking?
I'm cooking this soup, but it's vegan. It's all vegetables, but it's going to be real good because everything's from scratch, but there's no meat.
I don't want to roast that. No meat. I need my meat.
Now you guys see why I can only be vegan for lunchtime? Because this family is cray-cray. Every time they hear no meat, they lose it.
There's no meat?
No. No meat.
Not even lamb?
No lamb. Lamb is beef, Jada. No lamb. You guys get the reference, right? Big Greek wedding. So this is washed. I don't want to put too much of this because I really don't like kale. And I don't want to like mess it up where I can't eat it at all. But I'll put some, okay? This is the rest of the broth. So each of these bowls held a little bit more than 3 cups. What I'm going to do is separate some of my beans with some of the broth, and I'm going to blend it to make it smooth so we can make the soup creamy. So right now, these are all tender. So let's move on to the next stage of our spices. This is oregano, basil, salt and pepper. Everything's a teaspoon. We might need more salt because remember our homemade broth didn't have any salt. So come on over, guys. So let me put the oregano first, and then next the basil. And then of course the salt and pepper, and I measured out 1 teaspoon of each, but I'm going to taste towards the end and make sure that this is enough, okay? So now I've drained the beans, and I'm going to use half of the tin of beans for the soup, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the next half, all right? Let me give this a stir. We don't want it to burn. And then I'm going to use some of my stock and just blend the rest of the beans to make it creamy, and then add it to the soup. And this is what makes the soup thick and creamy, okay? Some of the beans that I blended. Some people will say, you know, use half the soup when it's almost done. Well, not half, a third. Blend it, put it back in. But if you do that, all the green stuff is gonna discolor the soup and make it green, and I don't want that. I don't like the color of the green. So I need more salt. I tasted it and I need more salt. Let me give this a quick stir. And then now it's time for us to add the kale. And I'm going to use the whole batch that I already washed and showed you guys earlier. I'm going to be brave, okay, and put the whole thing in. This doesn't need to go for much longer because we don't want the kale to be overdone. Let me just go ahead and get it all soaked up in here. It's almost done. This soup literally takes like 15 minutes to make if you have the stock on hand already, okay? But I didn't have any, so I had to do all that today. So this is pretty much done. It's just a matter of cutting the stove off now and putting some in a bowl for us to taste, guys. Alright guys, so I cheated just now and I tasted a little bit off camera. Let me tell you, the soup is so savory and delicious. Now the kale, that's going to still take a little bit of getting used to on my part, but you know what? It was not gross. I can see that I can get used to it just the same way I got used to broccoli and spinach and celery and everything that's green, okay? So I'm going to taste for you in a little bit, but I wanted to first tell you guys thank you so much for sponsoring the show. This little board always shows the name of the people who have been at my side since January. You guys are so awesome. Your monetary donation goes a long way in buying ingredients to do these type of shows, okay? I'm also doing merch right now. As I'm recording this show, I only have one item. I'm doing a campaign right now between now and August 3rd. It ends on the 3rd of August, where I'm doing a coffee mug with my new logo, that one back there on the mug, and then just some information on the back. We're going to be adding more products to the store as we go along. Check the description below to click on the link to go to the store. I think I'm going to put some shirts, and I think I'm going to put Joshua's artwork maybe on some of the mugs. I don't know what all we're going to do, but we're kind of messing around with the ideas. And as we go along, you guys can make suggestions, okay? I've talked about this at the vlog already, so some of you already know, but I'm really excited about my little store. Look, I'm sweating. It's so hot today. So anyways, thanks as always for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please go ahead and share the video for me, and I look forward to your comments. All right, now it's time to taste.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any of my uploads. You can check me out on BBN9 in Belize, find me on social media, and check out my other 2 channels.